Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome to Aurora 4X, the incredibly in-depth, frustratingly so at times, but amazingly fun space strategy game. We have managed to venture beyond Sol. We have found a few different solar systems. However, the solar system of Lewis had a bit of a surprise. As soon as we started exploring, there was, firstly, the signs of a stabilized jump point, which is an artificial thing. Like, that's definitely someone has done this. But more so, 104 energy impacts against a ship on the other side of the star, causing it to turn into a rapidly expanding field of hot debris and plasma. We need to make a decision about what to do here, and having talked to the leader of the current ruling party, Wilhelm von Cryo, and the AI F1R3 have decided that it's best to continue to explore, albeit cautiously, instead of just leaving the system and quarantining. However, they have also wanted to start work on sensor missiles that we can then fire into the system and explore if we need to, should we actually need to pull out of here. And also a rapid military build-up, because something has a lot of firepower. Now, the one thing that did occur to me is that 104 energy impacts could be ground-based, and normally that would be on a planet, but it's possible it could be an asteroid, maybe? So that's troubling, because it's actually not on an asteroid, is it? Yeah, there's, the nearest asteroid is about 104 million kilometers, which is definitely outside beam range. So I have no idea what this is. Something, probably mobile, has 104 energy weapons minimum. We're gonna have to prioritize what we do in the system. The radium captained, I think we need to have a look at who's captaining the radium. The radium is being captained by Commander George Voidsinger. Brave man, is volunteering to go in and attempt to find out what the hell is going on. Okay, do we have, who's the science officer on this ship? Oh, right, maybe I need to click here. There we go. I need to actually click on the vessel, not the fleet. The science officer is Kane Lycan. Okay, so George Voidsinger and Kane Lycan are taking the ship into the system. We're gonna have to prioritize, because there's no way we're gonna just wander around willy-nilly looking at gravitational survey points when this is a system that is incredibly valuable. Like, as a reminder, this system is chock full of interesting things. There are 5 near habitable planets, for instance, and that's just for starters. There are 214 asteroids. We're gonna make sure we cherry pick some of these, like, for instance, Moon 1, Planet 2. Like, these need to be picked. So we're looking at going to Moon 1, Moon 6, 14, 17. 1, 6, 14, 17. Okay. So we'll go 1, 6, 14, 17, and Lewis 2. Okay, the time is measured in days, so we're going to need to proceed with some caution. Oh, Silver's unable to carry out its job in Kerlika. Still got a few people around in Kerlika. There's no jump points here. This is actually off of Sol. And it seems to be a dead end as far as we can tell, which is a bit disappointing. Did we actually find anything of interest here? Like, there's one comet that we haven't surveyed. The rest have been, and there's nothing on them. Great. This is a pretty boring system so far, sadly. Poor Kerlika. We have just discovered a 4th jump point in Sol. All the way out here. Which is, what, like 6 billion kilometers out. That's pretty far. Which needs exploring. So, we're instead going to have the Silver head back to Sol. and then go through the unexplored jump point. And we'll see what is over there. We're definitely going to go back and have a look at Lewis, because this is something I want to keep an eye on. Okay, that is a second vessel that just got blown up. This time by 156 energy weapon blasts. That's a lot. Like, I don't need to... I don't think I can undersell this. That's more. We thought it was 104. Now it's 156. And another vessel is down. This is dangerous. The Radium is not equipped with sensors that would be able to pick up enemy vessels particularly well. It's got a very small, low-yield thermal sensor. And now 143? Much further inside the system. My suspicion here is that there must be a jump point over here somewhere, and that someone has come into the system. So this would be the aggressor. And that someone actually lives in this system and they are defending it. The vessels that have died, you know, 5,300 tons, 5,000 tons, 6,000 tons, like, those don't seem to be commercial vessels. They would probably be military vessels, small military vessels like destroyers or frigates. Potentially could be exploration vessels, but a lot of them dying. And that one happened very quick. So it's potentially two different alien races here. One firing on the other. One attacking this system due to the nature of, like, the travel. We're definitely putting the Radium in harm's way. Okay, now what happened here was the Radium got to use the Lagrange point, because you can just instantly travel between Lagrange points to go from 3 to 1, which shaved a lot of our time, but also potentially put us deep in the system. Okay, we haven't sensed anything so far. This is a particularly busy area, remember. This is a big planet over here that has a lot of moons. And as far as we can tell, nothing. Only got a very low-grade sensor. Yeah, very, very minor. But if there was some sort of actual infrastructure, population, we probably should have sensed it. Okay. We had a look at those. Now we're off to the one planet over here. I'm actually going to have a quick peek at what we found. Sadly, no minerals on any of the ones that we were interested in. That is disappointing. Okay. And it looks like there was also no population or anything on Lewis 2, which are the best candidates for life here, at least in our view. Also no minerals, so sadly, although it looked like a nice place, it's not much use to us. We've actually now transited past all the wrecks. Ballsy move there, Radium. I suspect we actually just used the Lagrange point to just whip past, but risky. And we found the strategist system, which, hello, 2 planets, possibly colonizable. One of them has a 6% ice sheet, so it comes with water, and the other is only -5 degrees. Both of them lacking atmospheres, though, but that's something that can be fixed. And there are 59 moons, 17 asteroids, 7 planets. This is a possible system. I'm just going to start auto-turning at 5 days now. Although I think we will pop back to watching in Lewis, because it's just way too risky of a situation for us. Okay. In the meantime, We're having wealth problems, but it has started to even out. However, Earth is now 10 million worker shortage, and it's getting worse. It might be worth looking at who we have in charge of Earth right now. And then possibly going for someone who has a higher population growth. Now, Earth is an A5 category, which means we need at least Administrator rank 5. Analia Lycan is currently there. Population growth of 5%, but she does come with wealth 15. Mining 35. We're strip mining Earth right now. 25% production, 5% shipbuilding. Samantha Voidsinger, wealth creation 25, population 20, but doesn't come with all the production bonuses, etc. that we were hopefully looking for. So, unfortunately, not really a massive bonus to us. But what we can do is send some of our financial centers that we have on Earth to the 4 planets that we were going to use for minerals. Instead, we can probably send about 1 million populations worth to each of them. Well, maybe 500,000. None of them are actually up to 1 million yet. But that's still something that would be useful. So, it's 20 financial centers is 1 million, so we send 10 financial centers to each. 10 ships. I believe they fit in a ship. So that would work quite well. Let me just bring up the installation spec. And you'll look at financial center. Yes, they fit in a ship. Perfect. Okay. So, let's send the future planet to... Oh, you're doing all that infrastructure. Cancel that for now. More important things. Refuel and resupply. Wrong one. Refuel and resupply. Then load installation. Load a financial center. That'll load 10 of them, which I know we've got 232, but like every little helps at this stage. Go to IO, unload, go to Earth, refuel, resupply, Callisto, unload, Europa, unload, and Titan, unload. Okay, and that shouldn't take that long, and that will help us. Great. Now we can also send people to those colonies, and one of the things we can do is we can send population growth people, so we can start using them as incubators. Admittedly, they're going to be capped by their infrastructure, but we'll deal with that another day. So all of these, I believe, are A1s, so we want minimum rank of 1. Population growth is going to be the primary, followed by, it's not going to be wealth production, they're only going to have a few. It's going to be mining. We don't have it right now, but it's going to be useful when we do. We will check against their wealth creation as well. Okay. We have obviously 4 winners right here. All that population growth is pretty tasty. One of them also has a 25% wealth bonus. None of them have mining bonuses. So that's something that we'll maybe want to switch out when we rely on them for mining. But for now, Luke Lind, congratulations with that 30%. You are going to be in charge of IO because it's the highest population. Natasha Elf, you can go to Titan. Samantha Voidsinger, Callisto, and Josh Croze. You can go to Europa. Done. Oh, we should also put someone on this because it actually has mining going on. We don't care about that so much as the mining, so we're going to send Charlotte Haley. 25%. Our best miner is actually on Earth. Okay, we'll send you over there. Cool. Meanwhile, how's our map getting on? Kellica is pretty dead. Yeah. Okay. Strategist, potential jump points. Vulgaris only had 1. Mr. Grey had 2. We're working those angles very well. Carry on. Right, we're going to need to direct the Seaburgium from Kellica. And a pretty easy thing here. I think we just send them straight out to Strategist. Now, the fun thing is you can go auto-route by systems, which means you can send to basically any system, and it will just figure out its way rather than going, I'd like you to jump through this jump point, then this jump point. We're going to go through that unexplored jump point. Oh, we've worked on wealth generation. We are still negative, I will point out, which sucks, but hopefully that will start to change. We need to start scaling back our industry stuff. Like, every time we're doing something industry-wise, it's costing us money, and that does include building the new Sapphire Ebonies. It's tempting to stop right now. We don't need them, but they are over halfway. We could stop doing the slipway stuff. Sure, but that would leave it at a weird number, and that makes me unhappy. You know what we could do? We could be like, hey, your capacity target is that for now. Yeah, kind of pause the mid-upgrade. Yeah, that'll help. Now, what were we looking for? Research. We did the wealth generation. Do wealth generation again, maybe? I'm almost feeling that. Orbital mining production, construction really wouldn't do much. We've over-constructed. I think we do wealth gen. And I think we even give 4 people to it. It has been a bit of a problem. Although our wealth generation is positive, although it's not going to wipe out our debt anytime soon. And deposits of corundium have been exhausted on Earth. Let's just pause time to deal with that situation. That is the very first of our minerals to disappear. It's gone. All corundium is now mined out. However, luckily we have a stockpile, because we've mined it very quickly. We have a stockpile of almost 100,000. That will last quite a while. At least for now. But we're going to start thinking about replacements. However, I do believe Titan was a good replacement, and we've already started on that, so I think we're good for now. Let's have a quick look at IO, etc. How are you getting on? They have a worker shortage, technically, because most people are working on keeping the infrastructure going. Europa, you haven't got your financial services yet. Okay. You're negative. You haven't got your financial services yet either. Yeah, they're going to need more infrastructure after this. Okay, we got the implosion fission warhead. Great. That's still very far from what we want. We do need to militarize up. And it was one of the policies of the current government to start working on a military defensively, and particularly accelerate it with the advent of the Lewis issues. The Lewis crisis, as it will be known. So let's look over here. Missiles, kinetics. And yeah, we really need 4 times minimum. But that's going to be 4,000. We could also do with maybe launcher reload rate, etc. There are a lot of things here that we do kind of need, including the next level of power production stuff. We should have that shortly in a few months. Okay. I guess for now, we'll probably want to grab... I guess it will have to be the next level. Like, we kind of need it. So let's work on... ooh, Ashley Haley being usurped by Madeline Sevian, who actually has a 10% bonus. That's great, thank you. We're going to work on levitated pit implosion warheads. Very well. We might need to somehow redirect a little bit of our effort here. Troop Transport Bay. We're going to remove 1 person from that, down to 1. Trans-Newtonian cargo shuttles. We're going to remove that, down to 1. We're going to focus on getting that. Would like it sooner than that if we could. problem is with the money issues, it's going to be really tough. I think what we do now is we focus everything on one thing we can do. So we'll even ramp down our laser research to ramp up our missile research. It's a tough decision. Okay, the rhodium is unable to do anything. And that's in Zanmar, which is up here. 100% researched. There are unexplored jump points. Okay. In which case, rhodium. That's a lot of unexplored jump points. Okay. Now we're cooking with what could potentially be kerosene. This is the Nelt tab system. Okay. Okay. 3 near habitable. It's a trinary. The other 2 stars have nothing. But the inner star does have 7 planets and 21 moons. Hopefully of some use to us. Carry on. Right, the future planets have done their job. We're easily going to know what to do here. And that's going to be just take infrastructure out. Like, desperately, we need infrastructure. So, Earth. Load installation. Infrastructure. Go to Titan. Unload all the infrastructure. And come back to Earth for fuel supply. And then repeat that. For now, we'll just say another 9 times. And then we can always set it to do that. We might need to make decisions quickly about changing things up. Okay, we found the system Unique Fossil, which has a binary star really far out. 150 billion kilometers. However, it has a pretty busy inner system. 10 planets, 55 moons, 3 comets, and one of these planets, hello, the most inner one, is actually almost habitable. It is a bit hot right now. It would boil everything you put on there, but it is potentially habitable. Okay, it's finally happened. It did take a little bit longer than expected. However, a civilian mining operation has been set up on 2002 TC302 in the Sol system. And if we close that and I guess reopen it. Oh, it might have been there already. I just missed it. Okay. There we go. Glorious. 2 civilian mining companies, the Jeffries Mining Group, have set up. And they are mining geranium. Okay. They have recognized the need for geranium. We are going through it very quickly. And they are now mining it and sending it back to Earth. The very first off-world mining company. Now, we could purchase this. We don't have the money to do that. Instead, we're going to tax it. And what it will do is it will generate money for us. Every year, we're going to get 250, or we could spend 500 to get their uranium. We don't need it that desperately, so we need the money. We're going to let them sell it. Right now, our geranium is fine. We have a stockpile. It will be depleted in 34 years. At this rate, that rate will go up. That's actually quite worrying. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Oh dear. And look at that. 5 years, 2.5 years, 6 years. Yeah, this mining is actually going to rip the planet apart very quickly. Okay. Wow. Yeah, we're going to need to start thinking about more off-world stuff. We don't have the infrastructure for that. Please build infrastructure quicker. Okay. Because of that, we also do get research into like infantry, anti-tank, anti-air, resupply, infantry HQ. Like very basic infantry stuff, because the mining companies actually have their own units. And I believe we might be able to see them if we enable show civilian. There you go. They have a formation here, which is 3,332 tons with 515 people. In fact, to protect their 2 mining companies over there, they have sent 500 infantry, 7 anti-tank, 5 anti-air, 2 resupply, and a HQ unit. Like, that's pretty well defended for 2 mining things. Like, Okay, fair enough. Either way, good for them. Hopefully this is going to be the start of a beautiful friendship in terms of tax dollars. That never leads to friendship. Okay, we got a gas-cooled fast reactor, which should have unlocked ion drive technology. However, we're not going to research that. We need to start thinking about having weapons. And even if they're super crude, we need something. So, we're going to get maximum engine power modifier because this is useful for missiles. We're going to need it. We're going to grab Sam with a 50% bonus. And yeah, we're going to dump the 6 research facilities into that. And because it's super quick, it'll be done this year. We're then going to want to do the next level and probably the next level. But this will give us something to work with. Now, we're going to want to put these onto ships. And then these ships are going to go out and then they are going to deploy them as mines. Now, I don't recommend you do this in your game. And there's a reason for that, and that is because mines are bugged in Aurora C#. They have been since C# was released. They are still bugged. However, I know the exact bug. I know the exact reason that it's bugged, and I can kind of work around it by editing the database. Basically, I have to manually feed them targets by editing the database. Now, it's not something that I want to do. However, we are in such a dire situation with people in the outer universe who are much more advanced than us, and someone who's apparently firing 150 energy weapons every 5 seconds or whatever, just hanging out in Lewis just down the road, that I feel that we need to do this, just in case. So we're going to start designing a ship to be produced. And it's not a good idea because our money's negative right now, and we've only got 26 coming in, and it's going to go very, very poorly for us. But we, again, have no other choice in the matter. We need to be able to fire missiles that we can leave as mines, and should someone come to our home system to screw us over, hopefully a lot of very crude nuclear weapons will dissuade them. Luckily, we don't need to wait for the actual missile technology to be ready. We can add missiles later. That's the one reason that we should be able to do this. Beam technology and stuff, we'd have to try and like change the turrets over, which is retooling, and it won't be great. In this case, we can build a ship that just needs to drop the missile. That's fine, it can leave. Provided it can get there to drop the missile as a mine, that's fine. So what we're going to do, we're going to invent ourselves a new class of ship. The stake. Okay, it's an amazing stake. And this is going to be a mine layer. So I'm going to scroll down to mine layer. There we go. Hello. We are going to give you... I don't know which engine we want to give you. In fact, we might want to give you a smaller engine. I don't know how big we're going to build you. We could build you small. We could make you a FAC, which is a FAC, fast attack craft. If you build a craft that is 1,000 tons or below, it doesn't need to have a bridge. Like, if I get rid of this bridge, that's no problem. The idea being that the entire thing is kind of like pretty much one big space that everyone kind of talking to each other. You don't need a direct bridge. If you are bigger than 1,000 tons, you need a bridge. So... the question is, are we going to try and put a load of missile launchers onto this tiny little mine layer? Or are we going to build a bigger craft that can just dump a load of them and then come back and then dump a load of them? I'm tempted to go for the bigger one because it means the engine can be more efficient and it means that we could potentially go further with it. It's not going to have a jump drive because it would need to be big for that. And we can't go that big, especially our money issues, especially right now. I feel this is going to be just to defend Sol in case anyone comes our way. If we want to start expanding beyond that, then sure. But this is our just in case. We're going to defend our solar system as best we can. So, noting that it doesn't need to have a huge range. If we have a quick look, I'm going to move this over here. A quick look at Sol. Our furthest jump point is 6 billion out. So this needs to have 12 billion fuel. Ooh, hello. I missed this. The CS Pros Small C4. That is a civilian ship. CS, so colony ship. Civilians have launched small colony ships to go and help take people to the moons of Jupiter. That's lovely. It's taking them from Earth, where we need people, which is annoying, but it actually will help because we can shift our minds over there, etc. Like, this isn't the worst thing in the world, and I can, you know, prevent that from happening if I want. We can go over here. We can go, hey, Earth, what if we just didn't have you as a source of colonists? That's the thing we can do. But the people over at these colonies do have good population growth metrics, and they don't have a lot of infrastructure, so they can only have so many people over here. Overall, I'm going to let them do this just because it'll grow more people more quickly. It'll be a hit in the short term. Either way, back to building a warship. I'm going to say, let's build you to be about 4,000 tons, maybe. Not as a fact. So we're going to need to go and design a missile launcher. Hello. We need to decide on the size of our missile. The reload rate, we only have one. We're actually going to go all the way down. We're going to make this a box launcher. Now, the reason for that is a fewfold. A box launcher is a missile launcher that basically can't be reloaded without going into a hangar or going and getting into a dry dock or something. Like, it's complicated. You literally install the missile in the launcher, and then you have to take apart the launcher to put a new missile in it. The rest of them are reloadable. They just, if they're smaller, they take longer to reload. They then have magazines, and then you can fire multiple batches. We're just talking about defending the solar system for now, so we're probably okay with just saying, hey, go to the drop point, drop the mines, come back to Earth. Now go back, drop the mines, come back to Earth. We can do that. So we can just say, go with a box launcher. Typically, they're also used on fighters, because then your fighters will go into a hangar to reload. We will probably want a missile of size... So typically the meta is for size 6 missiles, just because anything below size 6 for detection purposes is considered a size 6 missile. That's just the case. So this is kind of like the biggest a missile can be without being more detectable. And detecting a missile means you can shoot it down, so it's pretty good to be this size. However, we're going to make a mine, which is a little more complex. It is effectively a shell, and then that shell will sit there and then say, oh, I see an enemy. I'm going to deploy my second stage, and then it deploys the missile inside. So the missile inside would presumably be this 6th thing, and then that will do its job. Now, we could say put it in an 8 launcher, so it'd have 2 padding. That's a lot of padding, but we are early in tech. And then we could also maybe say, hey, put a 7 missile in there or something. We could potentially say, okay, well, let's just build a 99 missile launcher. Why would you do that? Well, because you can have this missile is just sitting there. The mine is sitting there. When it detects someone, it fires 6 missiles or whatever it might be. Now, you know, obviously that might be more or less space efficient. Let's find out. This is currently 743 tons. What if we made it 9? Pretty linear. Yeah, overall it's pretty linear. I'd be tempted just to chuck some big launches on the ship, but it does mean that you're less likely to use it in a defensive role later on in a pinch, because you're never going to want to fire a 99 size missile. It's just too valuable and too easy to shoot it down. If you just drop it as a mine, that's a different story. I think we'll probably cut the best of both worlds, and we will grab a missile launcher of size 12. Yeah, it's 90 tons. Oh, that said, if we go 6 times 2 to 12, we could say make this a 14 size. And then potentially later on chuck 2 6s in it. And then for now, chuck a 12 in it. Like a 12 is a pretty big missile. That's chunky. That's 105. Yeah. I'm pretty tempted by that. Let's do that. Size 14. And this is going to be company name. Is made by the Jeffries Vandermeege. Jeffries obviously taking the lead here. Now they've actually started making mining companies off-world. And Vandermeege famously working on some of the very first space technology. So, seems sensible to me. We're just going to instant this. Okay. Fresh tech. And then missile launcher. Now, notice that now we've gone over 1,000 tons. It's added the bridge back again. It's very unlikely we'd be able to really make this a fact. Like, we could do, and it would have, say, like 4 launchers, and we build a load of them. But ultimately, this is probably just simpler to handle the one ship. Now, how many missiles do we want it firing in a batch? I'm going to say minimum 20, because when we're dumping a load on a jump point, if someone comes through, we want the option to just alpha strike them and dump 20 missiles onto them, or dump 40 missiles onto them. So we're going to keep going. 20 is probably what we can push right now, because note that the weight's actually starting to go up. Now, none of our engines are going to do. Notice that the engine's pushed it way over the limit here. We don't need that speed either. It doesn't need to attack anyone or run away from anyone, hopefully. It just needs to go out to the jump point. Like, I would say half that speed would be acceptable. And hell, it's a military ship. It can afford to be a little bit more extravagant on its fuel cost. So we're actually going to fire up. You might have guessed it. It's our old friend, A4X. Hello, A4X. We're going to go to ship optimizer. I'm going to say, hey, I would like this ship to be like 4,500 tons. Now, we know already that the ship is going to be, you know, adding the crew cost, etc., blah, blah, blah. It's probably going to be about 3,000 tons. So we will say our desired speed is 1,000. Our desired range is going to be only about, it was 12, so adding padding, 15. Minimum number of engines, just the one. Again, military, yes. Max engine plus fuel. 40% is probably going to seem about right. And then we'll optimize for that. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of available space. Like, looking at these, that available space is well more than we need. I was hoping for about 3,000 tons of available space. We might be able to build this even smaller, or we could just chuck more missiles launchers in. Like, that seems a good option to me. Why don't we do that? Job's a good one. I like it. Right. Okay. What if we said we wanted to increase the speed more? Obviously, it just means it can lay mines faster. It's not necessary because we're not speed laying mines or anything. There's no bonus for it. We could be attacked tomorrow. We could be attacked in 50 years. There's, you know, only a narrow range in which this mine layer is going to be useful, and that is we are attacked early enough that we haven't put any other defenses in place that would replace these and make these obsolete, which will happen soon. Or we're not attacked so soon that we haven't had a chance to even launch the mine layer. So I would say maybe we could push this up to 1,200. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference, actually. Look at that. The available space is maybe like 50 tons. Okay, what if we went to 1,500? Makes a bit of a difference there. Okay. Yeah, what if we make you 18? Make you... You know what? Sod it. Fine as it is. I like this. And we do need to put some sensors and stuff on this, even if it's just basic. So, yeah, this is fine. I will say we drop the speed ever so slightly. Okay, and then we pick out one we like. Which has the most available space? This one did. Was there a slight difference in like speed? A little bit. Was there a difference in fuel efficiency? A little bit. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll go with this one here. The 12 hull size, 0.9 efficiency. It's pretty efficient on fuel. So we're going to design our tech. Oh, this is using ion tech. Oof. We don't have ion tech yet. Whoops. That's awkward. I was wondering why it was so good. We do have 0.7. We do have, I believe, our engine power going to 30%. Not that that'll matter. Okay, let's optimize again. Yeah, that's made a bit of a difference. Not as big a difference as I feared, though. To compensate, I will allow us to drop down to 1200, though. Yeah, that's made the difference. Yeah, 12 and 0.9. That's reasonable. Okay, so we want a 90% efficiency. And we want to go for a 12 hull size. That's only 600 tons on a vessel that's going to be 4,500. So that's a pretty tiny engine, all things considered. It's going to chug fuel a bit more than our commercial engines, but it's also not going to be going that fast. So effectively, we just minimize the engine size in exchange for efficiency. This is going to be made by the Dracos Strain. Now, neither of them have actually tried working in the realm of propulsion before. So this is going to be the first for them. Makes sense. This is a pretty new type of technology. Or at least application. Chuck that in. And then what were you saying for fuel tanks? 3 standard, 3 small, 1 tiny. That's to get the exact range, so we don't worry about that as much. We don't quite need a large one. What were you saying? 3 small. I'm just going to say we chuck in another normal. Get 4. Why not? A little bit extra range. That's fine. Okay, and we have a tiny bit of room to play with. Now, what we're going to need for this is we're going to need sensors and we're going to need a fire control. Because ship has missile launchers but no missile fire control. Even if you're trying to drop mines, you need a fire control. Just to be able to press the drop button. It doesn't need to be a good fire control. Normally, this is like the thing that would paint the target at range and allow you to fire your missiles and then give the missiles the lock to the target. We don't need that. This is literally a minimum distance, minimum size thing that will allow us to have a button on board that we can link all the missiles to and then press drop. Like, it's not something that we're gonna worry about. So we're gonna design a technology. Missiles, fire control, and active sensors. I'm going to scroll the way down to missiles, fire control. And we're going to go sensor size. And we're going to crank that all the way down. So it's 5 tons. Literally a 5-ton sensor. As small as we can get. And this is going to be made by the Reynolds and Day Warning and Control. Okay. I believe we should just instant that. I don't think we want to play around with the resolution or anything. Like, it doesn't do anything for us. We can crank that down if we want. Like, we're not going to be firing at anyone. I guess for a ballpark figure, we'll leave it at about... You know, we have seen wrecks of around 5,000 tons. We'll leave it at 5,000 tons. Since that's something we know is vaguely going on. We should also maybe consider launching salvage vessels. If Lewis is strangely clear now, I don't know where the attacks went, whatever. We're still exploring, but maybe we should try and do some salvaging. That doesn't require a technology we don't have, but that's something we can do. We're going to put that on board. And that missile fire control should now allow us to fire missiles. We could add an active sensor so we can see enemies. But again, this shouldn't be near enemies. If it is, it's probably going to just die. There is a chance it could potentially drop its mines, but it's going to be designed for very short range. I will say, just in case we do end up using it as kind of a last-ditch method, it might be worth adding one. But we are going to prioritize adding more missile launchers. Yeah, there we go. So we're kind of hitting the limit there. Sure, we'll design ourselves a active sensor. And we're going to say, yep, 5,000 tons resolution is good. We do not want you to be too big. We're going to say we're going to make you 40 tons. Now, I could go into how, like, the resolution impacts the range, etc. I'm not going to, because this, we just care about having a sensor on board. That's it. That's all we care about. So we're just going to instant this. We're going to do a company name, sorry. Von Cryo Electric Systems. Instant. And refresh tech. We're going to obsolete the one that didn't have a company, and then we're going to chuck that on board. And we are 9 tons under, although I have kind of ignored the deployment time and stuff. Whoops. We'll deal with that now. It can go for half a year. Okay, so we give it deployment time of 9 months. Maybe 12? We'll get rid of the sensor for now. Whoops. Okay, what about maintenance life? It's got a maintenance life of almost 2 years. Like, we can actually save weight on this. So let's get rid of the engineering space, and you'll notice that, hey, the maintenance life is 0. Well, what if we put a small... Yeah, half a year. Okay, well, just to make sure this is going okay, what if we had a small maintenance storage bay? And we're kind of back to where we started, except these are small, and thus going to be taking up 35 tons as opposed to 50. We've saved a little bit of weight there. We can put the sensor back on. We're now 8 tons under. Job's a good one. Would it be worth putting more engineering spaces on in the really small category, like a tiny... Oh, that's still 13 tons. The fighter is 5. Oh, I couldn't put the fighter in, damn it. Now, note that it didn't go up by 5, it went up by more, because we also need crew and stuff, etc., and armor to cover it, so it's not going to be perfect. We're going to get rid of that. Where is it? Engineering space, fighter. Right. Okay. This is kind of what we wanted anyway. We've got 1,200 kilometers per second. We have ourselves 32 box missile launchers firing a 14 size. That's pretty large. Again, it's got a very short range. It will just be able to go to the jump points in the Sol system, and that is it. And it's going to burn 200,000 liters of fuel to do so. Fine. And because we're going to be using them in such small numbers, maybe even just one, I'm not going to name it. It's going to be the Stake 001, and then the Stake 002 if we actually build a second one. We probably won't. Now, normally we'd go over here and we'd say, hey, this is your normal loadout of missiles. We haven't designed any missiles, and by the time this is built, our missile technology will have moved on. So we're not going to actually set up any missiles for now. This is just the first part. We're going to lock the design. Very well. We could say senior CO, but again, it's not actually like a frontline warship. It is just a mineless. I'm not going to bother. We could even put conscripts on. Save on well-trained crewmen, because again, the reaction time and stuff of the mine layer is not going to matter. So yeah, we'll say conscript crew. No armor. No, that changes station. Everything else is fine. Good. Done. Close that up. Shipyard. Oh, how long until you've got to that capacity? I thought you would have been there, but you're actually working towards capacity. Let's find out by asking you. Roughly a year, because you'll take about a year to go 1,000 tons. It's a shame it doesn't tell you the completion date. Okay. Well, carry on. Another jump point. This one also stabilized. This is getting a little bit weird. It just happened again. And we know what it is now. It's the jump point. Someone is coming through the jump point and getting shot down. This system is in a war. Because someone's camping the jump point and taking out people who make it through. We even scanned that jump point. We actually could have got killed, and this time it was 179 energy weapons. This seems likely to be a fleet of enemies, and quite a large fleet at that. That's potentially very scary. even more. This time, a batch of 208 and a 48. 48 will 1 strength. Okay. Whatever this is, it's strong. Luckily, we have researched the area and didn't find anything and moved on. Otherwise, we would have probably got killed. Unless maybe the aliens are friendly to us. But we don't really want to get too close to check that out. That jump point is the issue. Oh god! There's a full-on, like, battle going on. Nuclear detonation, strength 1. Energy weapon impacts. Energy weapon impacts. Nuclear detonation, strength 1. Up here, look at this. 36 ones, 39 fours, 208 fours, 48 ones. There is a full-on fleet engagement going on. Secondary power systems are exploding. Whatever just came through the jump point is a fleet engagement. This power system was strength 45 when it exploded. There's also nuclear detonations going on. Another power system, 37 this time. What the hell is going on in Lewis? I really would like to grab some of the life pods, but there's no way we're getting close to that. How far away are we? About 1.7, 1.8, 1.7 billion kilometers. Okay, that's safe enough for now. Is it over? It does appear to be over. Fascinating. Incredibly tempting to try and grab some of those life pods, but we have a standing orders. It's explore, but be careful. And as such, we don't know what's in them. We can't risk the contamination or potentially telling the enemy that we're here. As far as we are aware, they do not know that we're here. The only reason we know they are is because they're firing off very powerful energy weapons. We haven't seen a sign of their ships other than the fact that there are debris and bits floating in space. Okay, we've got a faster engine power. Again, that's not going to be enough. We're going to need far more than that, so we're going to continue going. Oh, hello. Nuclear detonation strength 5 and strength 4. That's new. We have not seen those types of detonations. That is very indicative of a missile weapon. 9,000 tons. Sounds like some sort of exploration, maybe? Potentially something else. But there is now a new wreck here. Feels like exploration to me. Someone is trying to get into the system to explore, and someone else is camping out around here and killing things. Which potentially means they would camp out and find and kill us. Another one just got killed. Similar weight, but not the same. Alright, we built more sapphire ebonies. That's lovely. Hopefully it means that we'll be earning a little bit more money now. Alright, the cesium has completed its orders. Let's look at the current state of our map. So, we have effectively 4 angles, ignoring Calica. We've got the north of Mr. Grey, the east of Mr. Grey, and the south of Sol, and the west of Sol. I mean, I'm going to count those the same for now, because I doubt we'll be moving on beyond Lewis. Okay, the Gunslayer is devoid, sadly, of any jump points. However, the cesium can pop over to Zanmar and go through one of the 2 unexplored jump points. Also does mean I want to have a quick look at Gunslayer and see if there is anything of note here. No minerals. Great. I am very sad. Okay, did Mr. Grey have any? Mr. Grey did. However, the availability is terrible. The quantities are decent, though. Maybe making this a possibility, not an option that we'd like to go down, but one that we might have to. Did we have a look at Agent? We did. Oh, now we're talking. Agent has some very nice prospects. Oh, look at that comet. Oh, damn, that's large quantities for a comet. We're going to create colonies on the spot on that one. And the 2 planets that are potentially habitable, also doing the same. This inner planet, also good. But, you know, not as habitable. Okay, we're going to create a colony there regardless. I am very interested. And then let's include asteroids with minerals. There aren't any. Okay. Here's the downside. Agent is next to Lewis. And Lewis is already a bit of a problem. We're going to need to think very carefully about whether we want to go to Agent or not. Because if we go there and we start setting up, someone comes through, sees us, then potentially they follow us back to Sol. It's going to be a little bit of a decision to make. Now, we could also have a look at the Zanmar. Nice. Not bad. You know what? We will pop a colony down there. Probably shouldn't be doing this early. That is a huge amount. Oh my god. Almost 30 million uranium. Over 150 million tritanium. Admittedly, the quantities are terrible. And it's got galisite. Putting a colony on it regardless. Probably shouldn't have done that. It is a bit further away than Agent. This is, you know, 1, 2, 3 jumps as opposed to 1, 2. But we know what we're working with in future. Now, one advantage to this is you'll see that there's nothing listed here. But if we just skip forward like 5 seconds, it has now got a list. And we're going to close them up for now. Oh no, the radium is heading somewhere dangerous. Oh, we found the Dracon system. Oh. A relatively habitable planet with a liquid hydrosphere. Atmosphere, not enough oxygen. But other than that, habitable. We'd maybe need to bring the temperature down a touch. 57 is a bit high. It has a lot of moons. 33. 5 planets. 2 comets. Okay, it's got a secondary star, but that doesn't have anything around it. We're going to go back to watching Lewis. The Tantalum can't do anything in Pepster. Okay, do we want to go from Pepster? We've got 1, 2, 3... 4 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is our jump limit at the moment. Pepster is 1, 2, 3. Yes, it's fine to go further. Okay, the Tantalum. Sure. I tend to set a jump limit. I say, hey, 4 is reasonable if we don't need to push it, especially with stuff going to Lewis. So we're going to go 4 from Sol, and that'll be our first wave of expansion. We'll give that. Is it just another wreck up here? Okay, we found the Jazza system. With a lot of habitable low-gravity worlds, but there are a few large moons here. A lot of asteroids as well. Some Vesuvian planets. Okay. This one over here has an ice sheet. Interesting. Okay, we discovered another jump point in Lewis. All of which are stable. This is weird, worrying, interesting, all in that. Maybe not that order. Maybe that order. Alright, the future planets have done their job. Keep going for more infrastructure. Okay, we've got a maximum engine power modifier. We're going to keep pushing it. 1.75. Kind of the minimum, really. We need missiles that go fast. We need to be able to get that engine pushed up. Rose Container Lines has launched a freighter. I think what we'll do, because we know that there are now commercial freighters, is we're going to start issuing a few orders. So, civilian economy is useful. It allows you to move stuff without having to move orders. So what we'll do is we'll go over here and we'll say, hey, Earth, what do you have in the way of infrastructure? You've got like 3,000, right? Well, what if we have a supply of, say, 500 earmarked for the commercial sector? Could you do me a favor and shift that to Titan? We'll say, hey, Titan, you have infrastructure required of 500. And we should see... There we go. That freighter is picking up 10 of them. And it will be taking them to Titan. That'll hopefully do the job for us. Our worker shortage is getting pretty bad. We might need to go with the population growth. That 5% isn't quite cutting it. And the mining is becoming less and less important as we have so little time left on the mining. Yeah, we're going to shift her over. And I know that she's been an amazing... person in charge of Earth, like administrator, but we need population. I really only have like one person at R5 or above. All right, Samantha Void Singer, you do have wealth creation, so hopefully that will help. You're going to Earth. And I guess you can go to probably our biggest off-world colony that will have mining, which is going to be Europa. And I guess that kicks someone else from Europa. But we'll deal with that now. Who was about population growth? Ah, gosh. You can go to Callisto. Done. Bit of shifting around there. Hopefully that means we'll have population growing again. Okay, we've reached the target capacity for expansion. Our money is thankfully going back up now. Worker shortage is still pretty terrible. We are going to go to our shipyards, and we're going to say, hey, Day Shipyard, I would like you to retool for the stake. It's done instantly, and then construction battle fleet, build me a stake worthy of Mordor. And then we're going to just skip forwards like 5 days. 5 more, because it didn't actually skip 5 days. Okay, it's actually skipping short periods of time. I do wonder if that's more fighting in Lewis. Could well be. What the hell is here? Yeah, money's going up a lot less now, so still got to be a bit cautious with our money. Right, Subject Delta is now fully surveyed. Let's have a quick look at Subject Delta. Ooh. Ooh. Huge amounts of stuff, but not very accessible. But maybe I'm just blinding myself. There is 500,000 geranium here at 0.6. And tritanium at 0.5 is almost over 4 mil. Gas giant's not great for thorium. Again, these are huge amounts. Like, we're talking huge, but at 0.1, availability is pretty awful. The geranium, though, here. Holy cow. I'm at 1 availability, 35 million geranium. I'm just creating a colony on the spot. And that Saurium at the Super Jovian, that is enough fuel to keep us going for ages. Subject Delta's only 2 jumps away as well. And 4.9, yeah, that's not far. That's huge at 0.8 availability. That's fantastic. This moon, also pretty good. Comite at 0.1. Again, good, but like not as anywhere near as good as that. Like, that find is fantastic. I'm arguing about you. I think we have a look at Subject Delta. Let's go have a little bit of a gander. So the jump point that we'll be using to get to Sol is Mr. Grey, which is a little bit awkward. It's going to be a pretty long voyage, and there's no way to kind of shortcut that. I was thinking that, hey, if it was a jump point in system, we could shoot the stuff with Mass Driver to one of the places in system and just pick it up there. It would save us having to travel, but that's not the case. Instead, half the time we're going to be close and half the time we're going to be further away. If you're wondering how you do this, by the way, hold shift, click, drag. You get yourself a number on screen. Super valuable. Wasn't actually in the very beginning of C#, which was kind of frustrating, but it is now, and thank God. Right, this is... I mean, geranium is a very highly used material. It's probably one of the top 3, if not the top 1. This world is also really habitable, and it's 2 jumps away. This makes it a yes. Like, it's not in the direction of Lewis as well. I think this becomes our first go-to for not an off-world, but like an extrasolar colony. That said, it does require a few things that we don't have, and we won't have for a little while, so it's not going to be something we jump to as like a first port of call. However, it's very nice. It has a lot of jump points. Like, this is 5 jump points. We get in here from Sol, and we can still go 4 other places. This is going to make a mess of the map, but we are going to jump to another system. Yeah, they're very far out compared to the one in system. Yeah, okay. This has been a very interesting episode. I have no idea what's going on at Lewis. I genuinely don't. I could maybe theorize some things, but as for knowing, no, I'm out of here. I have no clue what is going on in Lewis. And it's only 3 jumps away from Sol. That's danger. That's danger territory. And also, agents right next door. But we do have some other options. Strange, like they're really good, but very specific. But that's okay. We have to have a look and see if we can make use of them. Hopefully we won't get attacked. We still haven't seen actual enemy in Lewis yet. And I'm tempted to say we've had a pretty good poke around. Is Lewis worth fighting over? Lewis. Well, frankly, no. We've started to survey it, and there's a lot more surveying to be done, but all the habitable planets? No. Perhaps it is worth just leaving Lewis well enough alone and maybe just mining the other side of the agent jump point until we can come back, because whatever is there is capable of fleet engagements. And we have nothing. We will soon have 1 mine layer. Yeah. We're probably going to abandon Lewis. It's a very interesting system. But I do not want to tangle with whatever that is. When we have a fleet, then we'll go back. Now, though, I've been EnterElysium. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And we'll get involved in the politicking over on the Discord. This is sure to raise some interest among the political parties and the goings-on. I've been EnterElysium. Stay shiny.